So welcome. So this is Nikki from Atta Clinic. She is one of the softest, beautiful souls that I know, and an incredible therapist, and another therapist that we're just so blessed to have on board. So tell us about you. It's so exciting. Tell us about what you're offering to all to the clients.
Okay, so EFT is an energy therapy, and it is it's a tapping therapy. So it's otherwise known as tapping, and we have acupressure points all around our body, the meridians flowing around our body, and we tap our acupoints, certain acupoints, and we will talk. It's like a talking and kind of tapping therapy, and it releases emotions, it releases blocks, it releases limiting beliefs, and just helps you. It's called Emotional Freedom Technique, so it kind of gives you that emotional freedom, kind of does what it says on the tin really.
So I personally, well, actually, we've both personally seen you, because I know we can't talk about your other clients, but I can talk about myself.
Yes.
And it's a really interesting and a really quick therapy as well, I find. Like, you don't have to sort of talk about your past over sort of 10 weeks. It's like you come, and what I find about you, Nikki, is that you really get to the roots quite quickly. You're very good at talking and then finding where that emotion came from originally.
Almost weaving magic around, without you even knowing that you're doing it.
And then how I see it, I suppose, is it's like a rewiring of that emotion and sort of retraining. I don't know if that's right.
Yeah, kind of what it is. I think it's because there's kind of like, it's when things happen and there's like a negative emotion attached to it, it kind of stores in like the energy flow. And when you're tapping and talking through it, it releases that. So it just restores the balance, and it restores like the balance to your body. It's very much kind of mind, body, sort of spirit kind of therapy, I would say, because I'm kind of a big believer that sort of all disease comes from our emotions, and it's generally you can find by that as well. If people come to me and they've got like a physical ailment, or even if they don't, they might talk about something that is where it's hurting or where you can feel it in your body. There's generally an emotional attached to that. So you can kind of work with that,
as well, isn't it? It's not necessarily an emotion that you are aware of either.
No, exactly. No, it isn't, and quite often it isn't, and it's quite often not where you. Like, we might think of something that's happened in our past. There's a lot of stuff that happens in the childhood that's at 0 to 7 age. And it might not be anything big. It might not even be something that you can remember. But then you get taken back there. Because as we're doing it, it's kind of you're kind of, as you're in the tapping mode, you're kind of going into that, I suppose that kind of, you're going into your subconscious mind, and that's where it's all stored, and that knows where to go. So that's what we do. We follow that thread, and it may be that you've kind of attached to this memory that you think, oh, this is where it all stems from, and actually it doesn't stem from there. It stems from something before that, or something different from that. And it's something that could be so small. It doesn't have to be a big thing. So we have like big trauma, little trauma, and it doesn't have to be like, there's a lot of little traumas that could be manifest into this big problem. So yeah, I think
we cut out there.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, so I was saying, like, it could be like a lots of little traumas that could then sort of become a bigger thing, rather than it being one big trauma. And it could be something really small. A lot of things kind of will happen in the school time as well. Like, it could be a teacher saying something. It could be feeling not good enough, not clever enough. It could be like a throwaway comment. It could be a friend, it could be a parent, that doesn't necessarily come from a bad place, but you're taking it how you take it because of whatever your sort of belief system is at that time.
You almost take it and it gets stored somewhere, doesn't it?
It gets stored somewhere, and then what happens? Yeah, exactly. And then what happens, something else will happen that will then sort of cement that thought process, cement that belief system, and then it carries on. And every time something small happens, and then actually in the end, you're looking for that. So you're looking for that to be cemented, rather than it just being something that was like something really small that happened. And I think, and as children, we don't know how to process things, and we do things that are the best things for us at that time, so that will keep us safe, and they serve us at that time. But what happens is, along with the emotion being kind of trapped in your body, so does that behavior stay trapped in the body. And then what happens is that carries on through into adult life, and that behavior doesn't serve you in adult life. So this is why tapping can really help, because it can get to the root of the problem, get to the root of those causes of, and you know, I've had people come to me with illnesses, and we've kind of looked into possibly why that illness is there. Like I've got kind of like a book that I look at, it's like my Bible, that kind of will give me, it's all like metaphysics, and it will tell you, it will give you examples of what possibly could have happened, or it could stem from. And then I'll just go through with my client at the beginning and just say what resonates with you, and there will be one or two or three, or all of the things will resonate with them, and we can go from there. And it clears it. They don't have that anymore, because you've cleared it.
Talking a lot about children, but again, as Claire said, I can only speak from my own experience with you, which was really profound, actually. And what started off where on a conscious level, as you know, ended up deep diving into something that happened when I was unconscious, having a medical procedure.
Yes, exactly.
So it was something that was happening that was completely out of my control, because I was completely unconscious, but my subconscious wasn't unconscious. My subconscious knew what was going on. And that was just stored. And I had no idea what trauma that had put on my body and my, obviously, emotional well-being as well. So working on a completely different end of it, as well as obviously the child side.
And it's a gentle technique. It's quite gentle. You go in, but it's not like you're not re-traumatizing yourself. You go in and you're releasing the emotions, so the emotions come out. And they can come out in any way, like we have yawning, like burping, whatever, it's coming out. It comes out however it wants to come out.
Burping on my case.
Burping on your case,
Tears in mine.
Tears in yours, and we have tears, and we have laughter. There's always laughing as well. You can be talking about something really traumatic and be crying, and then by the end of that tapping round, it's like you're laughing at it, because you're seeing it from such a different, whether it's a relief, I don't know, it's very gentle. It goes with the client. You go where the client's ready to go. There's no kind of jumping in there for, like, you know, when I've got clients that have had PTSD, we don't go straight in there. We go gentle. It's at the client's pace, and we kind of weave gently, like you said. It is definitely like a weaving. And I have clients that sort of come back, and we tend to go, right, okay, next week we're going to work on this, and then they come back next week and we're not working on that, because something else has happened and something else has come up. And with tapping, you have the session, it's still working, and things are still processing. So it might be that, okay, we need to work on this next week. So but within that week, something's processed where actually that's not really important. We kind of go.
Or you could be working on 10 things within one thing. You don't realise also how many things you're clearing while you're trying to get to that one thing that is your concern. You're almost clearing lots and lots of things along that path, aren't you?
And they're all linked, though. They're all linked together. It's all part of that puzzle. It's like, sometimes I think when I had my session with you, Claire, and we were doing some stuff, and it was like all the puzzle pieces were kind of connecting together. And it was like, it is like a puzzle. It's like, oh my God, that makes so much sense now. That makes so much sense now. So it's kind of like, it's like that. It's reframing. I help the clients reframe something, because we get stuck in that pattern, that belief pattern of like, this is how this is. And so it's like, I've had clients that have kind of have been sort of worried about, like, talking in front of other people or something like that. And there's that fear of judgment and their fear of this. And it's like, actually, nobody's that interested in you. And I don't mean that in a horrible way, but everyone's got their own shit going on. Everyone's doing their own stuff. You're not that important to them for them to be judging you that much. And they were like, oh my God, that's so interesting. It's kind of like totally made me see things in a different way. And it's just that thing, it's that helping. And I think that with tapping, I love it because it's a tool that the client can take away and do themselves. And I think it's invaluable because it's, especially for young people and young children, because it starts them early.
Yeah.
Like we're older in life and we're kind of doing it now. We're doing that work now. They're doing it, like my daughter, like she's just turned 15. She uses it, and I just think it's great for her because she's already doing it. Like you've got Stan, who's been to see me. Great. He's like 6 years old. It's brilliant. He's doing his thing, you know.
I think it's introducing it without pressure, because Stan, I mean, we came to you and it was such a, because I was like, do you need him to sit down? And he just weaved around your room playing instruments, but and talking to teddies, but still got such a loss out of it because of how we were doing things. It's such an easy, amazing.
You can't do it with children the same way as you do with adults. I think under 11, it's a different way. You kind of definitely on their terms, and definitely, you know, shorter sessions because of the attention span. 11, maybe like the teenage years are a bit more tricky, because obviously they're like, you know, as adults we're a bit older and we can kind of work out our emotions a bit better. I think like from about the age of 25, that part of the brain is formed that helps us do that. Before that, you've got like the teenage years where you're trying to work everything out. You've got peer pressure, you've got social media, you've got a lot going on, and you don't want to necessarily come and sit and talk to some stranger about what's going on inside, and actually you might not even know yourself. But it's still a good technique. It's a good technique for them to learn and take away and be able to do themselves. And that's why I love it, because I give it to my clients. They can take away, they can use it on themselves. You can use it to help you with smaller things. You can use it as a daily thing for energy toning, to kind of just keep your, you know, we've got like an anxiety level, you know, we can be here, which is like, you know, we're totally fine. We can be here and we're like, you know, fight, flight, freeze or flop. This end,
freeze or flop.
Freeze or flop, freeze or flop, because people do that, don't they? They just
I haven't heard of that one.
Flop. I like that. It's kind of I'm a freeze or flop person. I've passed it a few times in my life.
I think I am.
It's like, but if you start the day, if you're kind of in that constant state of anxiety, you're starting nearer this level, nearer this end. If you're doing the tapping every day, you can get back down to that level. So you're starting the day. You can't necessarily take away those daily anxieties and those things that are happening on a daily basis, but you can give yourself a good kind of, you can make it easier for yourself by doing the tapping, because you can start lower down, and just as a daily thing, and so you're starting the day off in a better way, and then obviously using it for specific things. And I would say it's good to use on your own, but there are certain times where you're going to need a therapist, or you're going to need a practitioner there, because it helps you having someone to, one, hold the space for you, two, guide you, because you might need that guidance, and two, if something comes up and you don't know how to handle it, you need somebody there that can hold that for you and guide you and take it at your level.
I do totally agree with that. I think it's very rare, because I know how to do it, but it's very rare that I would put the time aside to make myself sit there and go through it. And I think it takes a very special person like yourself to get to that root, like we talked about, that root cause.
And there's no way I could have got anything from what our connection that we had. There's no way that would have come up on my own.
No.
Self-help tapping.
No.
At all.
So we are gonna talk. We're gonna do a demonstration today, aren't we?
Yes, we are. Yeah.
Go on, you
do. So what we're going to do today, it's trauma tapping technique, and this was created by Ulf Sandström and Gunilla Ham, who are from Sweden, and they run the Peaceful Heart Network, which is a charity that's set up to help people all around the world that are living in like war zones. Originally they set it up they went over to Rwanda and the Congo to deal with the genocide over there, and to deal with the victims of that. And they've since done lots of work with refugees, and I did the training with them last year, and it's a really nice technique to do, because you don't have to talk with this, and you can use it. This is a good energy toner, so it's a good one that you can do every day, and it's also a good one that you can do with your children. You can do it on yourself. So I think we were talking earlier about all of the things. It doesn't have to be anything. We're not doing anything big today, because I don't want anyone opening up a can of worms and going off and being in a place where they don't know what to deal with and how to deal with what's come up. So it's just general anxiety, and general
So like
stress.
fight or flight as well then, or fight, what do you call it, flop?
So there's fight or flight,
Freeze or
which is
flop.
where fight or flight is where you're kind of like your adrenaline's going up.
Yeah,
And
so for like the flight then as well.
Yes, you're either going to run off or fight.
Yeah, adrenal
Freeze or flop
wake
is
up.
where you literally just, like rabbit in headlights, or the animals that just will do that and then they just flop to the ground. And it's
So me.
So it's just the way it's the way your parasympathetic nervous system works. So it will either do one or the other. You'll be programmed, whatever one you do is the one that you'll always do. But it kind of really helps with that. It just brings your nervous system back into regulation. It regulates
back into a balance again.
So it brings it back to a balance. So yeah, they call it what do they call it? They call it psycho. Where is it? What do they call it? Psychological first aid.
Oh, good.
Nice.
So that's what they call it. This is like psychological first aid. So this is how we do it. If I just go through the points with you quickly first, and then I'll just talk you through as we go through. So we have the side of the hand point, which is here.
Karate chop, as
The karate
Dan
chop.
knows it.
Yeah, karate chop. And then we have this what we're doing here. This is havening. So they introduced havening is like a self-soothing technique. So they just add this in.
I was
so you
just
just
do it with my glasses.
Okay, yeah.
I might have to take them off.
Yeah.
Elbows. So you go forward, I'll go back.
Make it me forward.
So you put your hands on your forehead, and it's like you're just pulling away slightly over the top of your eyebrows. So, and then you've got the points. We do have the tapping of the head point in normal tapping, but we don't use that for this.
Right.
So here you have your eyebrow point, which is the end of your eyebrow. And we use both hands, but I'll show you now just with one, so I'm not tapping the point. And then the side of the eye, which is just the other side of the eyebrow. And then under the eye.
No, I have to take them off.
And what we'll be doing with this is we're just tapping 10 to 15 times on each point.
Okay.
So that's the under the nose point there. And all of these points are acupoints, which link to different meridian systems that run through the body. So this covers all of the points that we're tapping on. So you've got under the collarbone here, you're tapping all along here. And there's lots of the meridians that go through here, so you're covering lots of points. So this is all just helping, and really, I do that a lot, actually, Claire. I was like, before I came on, I was doing that. And then under the arm, which is kind of in line with the bra strap. And then we have the finger point. So it's the inside of the finger. So it's just the nail point there, where the nail kind of reaches the finger. We tap there just with 2 fingers. And then each one.
Does it make any difference what hand we're using?
Well, no, because what we're going to do, we do 2 rounds and we swap.
Right. Okay.
So we use one hand on the first round, and then we swap to the other hand on the second round. And those 2 rounds represents one kind of round of the tapping that we're going to do. And then you just repeat it if you want to feel kind of like more relaxed. But it just kind of takes the edge off. And then the thumbnail, which is on the side there.
We're going to have a great day working together, aren't we?
I'm going to do it all day.
No, you've got work.
No.
And then back to the chest, under the chest there. And then we put our hands on our knees or our thighs and take 2 deep breaths in. And again.
All right, yoga breath.
Okay.
It's much needed.
You need to breathe it all out, Tracy. That's it, get it out there.
Actually,
what we're gonna
do already.
Yeah.
Nice, isn't it?
So what we're going to do, we're going to do that again. We'll do it twice, and I'm just going to talk you about. So you can close your eyes because I'm going to tell you the point. So if you want to close your eyes and do it, you can.
Right.
But what we're going to do, so first of all, we're going to be tapping our side of hand karate chop point.
On the other hand,
I don't know.
Just know we're going to stop because we're doing it again. We'll just do the same hand because we're going to do it twice. This is what we're doing now is the actual routine. So this is the start of the routine now. So now I just want you to focus gently on what it is that's bothering you. So that anxiety, that stress, could be just the daily stress, being a mum, being a wife, being a husband. Just those daily stresses.
Business partner.
Business partner. And then as you're thinking about that, you can give it a number between 0 and 10. And it's like an intensity level. So 0 means you're totally fine. 10 is like the strongest feeling, which we don't particularly want any 10s, maybe, because it might be a bit too much, but see how we go. And then once you've given it a number, then we can start the round. Okay, so doing the hands across the forehead 3 times.
So nice and touch my head.
And then the eyebrow point with both hands. That's it. So just the 2 fingers on both hands. And then the side of the eye. Under the eye. Under the nose. The chin. It's under the collarbone. Under the arm. And the little finger. The ring finger. The middle finger. The index finger. And the thumb. And back to that collarbone. And your hands on your thighs. And breath in through the nose and out through the mouth. Again, in through the nose and out through the mouth. And then on the other side, so tapping the other karate chop side of hand. And then hands on the forehead, across the eyebrows. The eyebrow points. Side of the eye. Under the eye. Under the nose. Chin. Collarbone. And then tap under the other arm. The little finger. The ring finger. Middle finger. The index finger.
We're doing a live, Baba. Okay. Tap it. Come
And the thumb.
Tap.
The collarbone. And hands on your thighs. Deep breath in. Out through the mouth. That's it. Deep breath in. Through the nose. And out through the mouth. And that's it. And now check in with that emotion. And whatever number you gave it, see how that number is now.
I'm quite lightheaded.
Yeah, it does make you feel a bit like that. And that's it. And sometimes it doesn't go down, sometimes it will go up.
Right.
And that's okay, because it means there's a shift, there's still a shift, that's fine. And then you just do it again. If it hasn't quite hit this point, then you just go round again. You know, sometimes it's a bigger thing that we're doing, then you just, you know, do another round or two.
Just shut us up.
I know.
Yeah, it does make you quite like,
yeah,
it's all
saying,
very
I can feel it.
now, yeah.
I think that
yeah.
it did feel like a tune up, or like a little tone up.
Yeah, and I think it's a good one to do,
exactly. Honestly.
Yeah. To the point where you were talking there, and I was just like,
what we doing?
I'm so sad.
Yeah. A little stand come in the door.
I did, yeah.
And jump out the skin.
Yeah. I think, and it's a good thing to do. You can, yes, go on, yeah.
So if in a situation, say that come up that was really quite, I want to say traumatic or intense, shall we say, and you wouldn't want to, so you might not remember all these points. If there's a particular point that you feel really comfy doing, like maybe 2 or 3, would it be worth just sticking to them? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. It's not like massively important to do it all in the same order. I think as long as you're getting the point, if you can tap any point, then you can, and it helps you kind of regulate and just kind of, it's almost like
self-soothing, isn't it?
Yeah, and I think it's that feeling into your body if you can. Not everyone can, because they dissociate and have dissociated. So that's where a session with me can help, because I can help kind of, get through the blocks there. But I think that if you could kind of feel into the body, you don't have to be talking out loud when you're doing it on yourself. Just feel where you feel it, feel that feeling, and then just tap. And just by the tapping, wherever you're tapping, whatever you feel, whatever you remember, this video people can look back on anyway and see that the tapping session. And on my website as well, I can put it on the Atta thing. I've got like a little thing of the tapping points.
Okay.
There's pictures of me doing the tapping points. That's something you can put on put it on the page.
Perfect.
But yeah, I mean, there's so much we didn't cover. I feel we've had lots of chats, haven't we? And we're going to do we're hopefully going to do some workshops and some various things in the pipeline.
Lots of things.
Yes.
But if you do want to have a one-to-one with Nikki online, just message us either on here or on our website, atta.life, and we can
just put you in touch with Nikki, and you can liaise with her. That's the joy about doing it online as well, because you can just do it wherever you want, whether it's at your home, in your office space, wherever is safe for you to be able to have the session. Yeah, and if you're local, then we can do face to face if you want. Yeah, but it doesn't. I mean, working online works really well. As well. So we're out of time. 11. It's 11, and we've got finished. There we go. Thanks, Nikki.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thanks for starting us off.
Yeah, it's been a great day.
Yeah.
Okay, see you soon.
We'll catch up soon, Nikki. Take care.
Thank you, sweetheart.
Thank you.
Bye, Nikki.
Thank you. Bye.